You know, I think sometimes, it's Monday night. What time is it? It's late. It's 9:30. I've just gotten everybody into bed after a big day around here. I'll tell you a little bit about my 9-year-old before we talk about the other 9-year-old. My 9-year-old's name is Amos, and he started swim lessons today. Now, he knows how to swim. He sort of is a dog paddler, but he can get across the pool. And tonight we went to his very first swim lesson. He's autistic, at the YMCA, and he did great. He played in the indoor plaything, and then he swam, and then he got a shower, and then we went and had Chick-fil-A, even though he wanted a cheeseburger because his sister told him it had protein. And then we went in Chick-fil-A, and the play place was open. He hasn't been in an indoor play place since before COVID. You would have thought that you just said, if you go through that door, Busch Gardens is in there. He was like, I gotta go. And then then he played so much he had to poop. So he came out, he was like, I have to poop. I said, well, go to the bathroom. And I was so proud of his sister, who's 14. She didn't get embarrassed, which is really something, because, you could be embarrassed. Well, he didn't stay in there but a half a second. He came back out and said, the toilet flushers, I go outside and poop. I could poop outside. We did have to poop outside one little time when we were at the DMV, because his brother was getting his permit, and the toilets that flush automatically, and we're going to get to Charlotte, Sena in just a minute, just letting everybody jump on. But while I'm here, I can do a public service announcement about, please no one put toilets that flush automatically in your building unless you don't ever want us to use them. So we had to leave the Chick-fil-A, and we had to go to the Panera Bread and use their potty. And then he said, let's go back to Chick-fil-A. I was like, way to announce that as we leave Panera. So Panera, we love you. Now, Anne's just ruining all the excitement of my news. They found Charlotte Sena, and she is alive and in good health. That is the little girl that I got a few little notes here. I've got an iPad so old you have to slide it. Hold on, let's see. Okay. She had gone, her family had gone camping this weekend. They live up in New York, and they were at Morrow Lake State Park. They went on Friday with some cousins. We're having a big time weekend. On Saturday evening, she and her cousins had been kind of riding this loop, and everybody finished, and she said, can I just ride one more time? And her parents said, sure, you can. This is upstate New York. So this was at about 6:15 p.m. On Saturday night at the state park. Well, when she didn't come back 10 minutes later, they went up to look for her and found her bicycle. So she was gone. There was no bike helmet. She was just gone. And immediately called the police. So the police were out there within another 10 minutes. And by the next morning, they did an Amber Alert. I think they just, Amber Alerts are tricky for people that don't understand, because I think people are always like, do an Amber Alert. Well, an Amber Alert, they're very careful about Amber Alerts because they only want to do them when they know there has been an abduction, a child is in danger. Because if they start doing abduction, let's say Amos, my 9-year-old, walked out the door and disappeared. Well, they can't do an Amber Alert then, because if they did an Amber Alert every time a child just walked away, then people wouldn't pay attention to them. So an Amber Alert should be used for a really big deal. And I think in this case, it worked. I tell you, there can't be much worse than not knowing where your child is, your 9-year-old child. There cannot be much worse, and wondering what could be happening to her. Is she alive? Where is she? I don't think there could be anything worse. And so what happened, she was found tonight at 6:32 p.m. The suspect's name is Craig Ross Jr. Craig Ross is 51. He has a sexual abuse criminal history. And the word is that he left a note at her parents' house, possibly demanding some type of ransom in connection with her disappearance. And police somehow, that note led them to search multiple residences where the individual was known to reside. And they found her tonight at 6:32 p.m. And the word is they found her in a trailer on the property where he was. It says on October 2nd, throughout the course of the investigation, state police identified Craig Ross Jr. as being in the area of Moreau Lake State Park around the time Charlotte went missing. Further investigation led to the search of multiple residences where the individual is known to reside. Upon the search of those residences at 6:32 p.m., state police located Charlotte Sena safe and in good health. The suspect was taken into custody, and Charlotte was taken to the hospital to be looked over. So I just so hopeful that she wasn't abused. No child deserves that, and I am thankful that she was found alive. Yes, she'll need support and therapy. And she's here. So anyway, good job, New York State Police. I think we think you can do your very best, and you can't keep your kids in a bubble, and we have to trust that the people around us are safe and kind and loving. And, every time I belong to a child that can't tell me things. And so I go in the bathroom with him. I do everything, with him. And I long for him to have that independence because I can't always be there, every second. I can't be there as much as I want to. I can't be there. And so I think we trust the world. She is 9, Amanda. She is 9. We trust the world to take care of our children. It's so important. So anyway, just really happy for her family. Her mother had said yesterday, she's so trusting. And if he left a note at her home, do the parents know him? I haven't gotten that feeling. But I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. But I don't think so. She probably knew her address. Amos doesn't know our address. He does know our member number where we go to the pool. Yeah, I hope there won't be people that blame her parents, because that made me crazy. I have never seen a case though where this didn't happen, where people love to blame some parents. And it could be a child with autism or a child without autism. And I'm just telling you, if you are human, you are not perfect. And things happen. Things happen. With the best moms and the best dads, things happen. And you just have to do the best you can. A friend told me he lived in the same neighborhood. So she was found about 13 miles away from her home. So I don't know if that's the same neighborhood. It was in Milton, New York. And, we had Stephen Stainer. We've had all these cases where the kids weren't found for years and years and years. Teach your children what to do with strangers. Don't go with them. Don't talk to them. Yeah, Ian, and you say that. But if somebody grabs a 9-year-old and puts him in the car, they grab a 9-year-old and put them in the car, just like the same way adults are kidnapped. We can't blame the child, and we can't blame parents. When my kids were little, my daughter especially would love it, guess 11 or 12, started walking a few blocks around the house to friends' houses or downtown to go to the movies. And my 11-year-old cousin was kidnapped when I was 6. Oh, Lisa. And we practiced, like, what do you do if somebody grabs you? And when we first did it, I said, okay, I'm going to pretend to be a bad person. And y'all are going to be walking down the street. And I kind of went around my neighbor's house. I came out and I grabbed them. And they were kind of like, stop, pretending to laugh. And I was like, okay, well, you two are dead now. So we're going to try again. I want you to scream your freaking head off. And I remember Blair said, can I cuss? And I said, yes. If there's ever a time to use all your bad words, it's when I do that. And so I did it again. And boy, did they scream. Screamed. I mean, really screamed. Anyway. So, I don't know if that's anything that people say to do, but it did help, I think. But, amen. Charlotte, I think there were a lot of people hoping you were going to make it home today. I'm my 50-year-old sister's special person. She has no speech. Scares me. Intellectual, she's around. She loves people and is full of trust. Oh, Margie. So please, Charlotte has been found. Yeah, I mean, I took my 9-year-old in the women's locker room at the YMCA tonight, and I noticed the woman in there cleaning kind of looked like, is that a little boy running in here? And then she heard him say something. I guess she realized, like, okay, he's, a little special. And I put him in the shower, and nobody said a word. And, how long will I be able to do that? Will we not always be able to take a shower at the YMCA? I guess probably not. I can't take a 16-year-old boy in there. What happened to her? How was she kidnapped? She was riding her bike, and she was kidnapped. You scream even if they say they'll kill your parents. And it's hard to tell little children, you don't want to scare them, but you want to have them know things. And I guess what I learned older was that if anybody ever tells you to come with them, you need to expect that they're going to kill you. So you should do whatever you can and not listen to them, because you will be dead if you get in the car. So if they have a gun or a knife and say, get in or I'm going to kill you, you just say, go ahead and take me. Kill me now. Right? Because you see people at gunpoint or at knife point and they get them in the car because people just think, if I just do what they say. The Pettit family up in Connecticut, Jennifer Pettit went in the bank to get the money, and they were like, she was saying, I'm being held hostage, and she was worried for her own daughter. But you have to assume, I guess we just think we're going to protect ourselves, but it's the opposite. You've got to fight. You've got to fight, and you got to teach your kids to fight, even though they're little and you don't want to scare them. But lots of YMCAs are being renovated to have family locker rooms. North Carolina had this big thing for a while of bathrooms, like men's bathrooms and women's bathrooms. And it's so funny, I think, God, if somebody just had a child with a disability, they might for a minute realize that sometimes women need men to come in the bathroom, like that is, let's work on keeping people safe. Let's not worry about who's in what bathroom, Do not get me started on the Pettit case. I know. It was terrible. Terrible. She was 9. Somebody said, why did she want to do another loop? Well, I don't know if you've ever met a child, but children generally want to do another whatever it is. One more time. Amos went up the play gym. One more time. So that's pretty typical, you know, pretty typical. We don't know, Judy. We just know that the perpetrator had left a note at her parents' house, and they were able to track down who they thought the note was a sex offender, and where he lived. I had seen that at the time they were looking to see like what phones were being used in the park at that time. I mean, if people think they're not going to get caught doing something, you're going to get caught. I mean, maybe I watch a lot of Dateline, but it's going to happen. Yeah, boy, I'm glad she was too. Self-defense classes, well, that's a good idea. Deb, I don't know if she's with her family or if she's at the hospital. Why was he at the campgrounds? Maybe to, who knows? Why do we always aim our questions to the victims and their parents and not at the perpetrator? You know, I don't know. It is a strange thing. People, yeah, I think you're exactly right, Mary Grace. It makes people feel like it can't happen to them. I guess it's like, well, if I just can put the blame, that would never happen to me. I remember years ago in North Carolina at Nags Head, a family was visiting and walking with their 4-year-old son, and a wave came up and knocked him down and the mother down, and she couldn't get a hold of him, and he washed out to sea. And they did find him a couple days later. But it was so amazing how many people said, well, that would have never happened to me. What happened? You know, why did they let that happen? And it was like, are you really kidding me? Do you really think it wouldn't happen to you? Paula, my sister came up missing in 1984. Never heard from since. Oh, Paula. Paula, I'm so sorry. Summer Thompson was my cousin in Jacksonville, Florida in 2008. His fingerprints from the ransom note matched in the database. That's how they found him. Did you take video of Mr. Brown getting the $35,000 you and the followers gave him? Yes, we do have that on video from long ago. I need to share that. They got his fingerprints off the note, said Shelley. Her family met her at the Saratoga Hospital, and then they went with her to the hospital in Albany. Well, just prayers for that sweet little girl, Charlotte, who is 9, and just may God's peace come over her and her family, and just heal her from whatever happened there. And you know, we all make choices. We make choices. And, you know, we hope that people around us make good choices. And my best friend was taken and brutally killed. She was 16 and a second victim. But we can't not live. We can't not live or live in fear, you know, all the time, because it's just not how we're meant to be. You know, we're meant to go out and love. So anyway, hello from Rayford. Charlotte, so glad you're